Welcome back to my channel, fellow gardeners. Today I'm standing next to this plant, this shrub. I love it because basically it flowers all the time. And look at this. We've just had a whole load of bees coming to collect the nectar this morning. And I just thought, wow, that's amazing. It's called a fuchsia tree. And there are different names for it. There's the Fuchsia paniculata, and there's the Fuchsia arborescensis. We'll write the names down, but basically they're all related, and this is what they look like, these amazing, spectacular flowers. I'm going to show you how to propagate it so you too can have it in your garden. Welcome back. I'm Alice. I'm the Red Soil Gardener. So, fellow gardeners, this is my fuchsia tree. Now, the thing about it is, first of all, it's all about the flowers, where you get all the pollinators coming for it. As you saw in the intro, we had all the bees just looking for the nectar and the pollen of this beautiful plant. And also the hummingbirds do come. We don't have hummingbirds here, but in Europe, if you do have this plant, they'll all come looking for the nectar. And I think it's such a beautiful plant, also because it flowers all year around. Now, the thing is that as it's called a fuchsia tree, it actually is not a fuchsia. Now, but the other day I was looking at it and thinking, but why is it like a fuchsia? When I look at the leaves, it's almost similar to a fuchsia flower. And it's basically also the stem, the soft stem, has this lovely sort of maroon color, almost similar to a fuchsia. However, it is not a fuchsia. Now, the thing about this plant, it's actually native to Central America. It actually grows up in the cool temperate climate. So basically when you do understand that, then you know exactly what the light requirement is, or what the soil requirement is, or the water. So basically now we're considering its habitat up in the mountains. So what sort of sun requirement would it need? It does really, really well in partial sun, as I have mine there, is that basically it does get the morning sun, but because it's under some sort of hibiscus and oleander foliage, it is actually optimum for it to continue flowering all year round. However, it can actually manage in full sun. Now that we've talked about the light and the sun, what sort of soil does it do well in? I would actually, again, consider where it comes from. So I would see it as evenly moist, the soil, because also being up in the mountain, you do get the rains and stuff. But then the soil also with a bit more compost, a bit of organic matter, and let the plant roots actually just take its way gently and spread. So I would have it evenly moist, and basically soil is not fussy, but a bit of organic matter does work. Now, the thing about this plant is initially it is like if you wanted to do propagation, you would actually try to go with the soft cutting propagation. So this is a soft cutting from the plant, which is still very new. So the best time to actually do your propagation is maybe in the spring as the plant is growing, and you can actually do your soft cutting. However, as the plant does mature throughout the summer, is that what happens is that the stem gets a bit woody. Now, basically, it means that if you do a propagation with the woody part, it does take longer, as I've seen with this propagation, which I'll show you. However, today I'm going to do a soft cutting and also try this one, which is the woody bit of the stem, and see which one works faster. Let's talk about pruning. Now, the thing about this plant is that as it starts growing in spring or in summer, because that's the growth period when it's warmer, is that basically it does actually produce all these lovely soft stems, and which is the new growth. Now, in order to make it bushier, is what you could do is, as it does grow, you can actually prune it in order to make it bushier, in order to actually bring more flowers, because as you do it, you get more branching, and on each branch at the end of it is what you get the flower. So you can actually increase the foliage and the flowers by doing your pruning during the growing season, which is not a bad idea. So this is what I plan to do with mine, because as it's been there for a while, I've noticed that a lot of the new shoots are actually not getting enough, they're not strong enough. So what I'd like to do is actually prune it down, get it bushier, get more foliage and get more flowers in order to make it more dramatic. Basically, the plant is not frost hardy, although it would survive in milder places where you have more temperate climate. It could survive a frost or a period of winter. But what I would do is, just before you're hit by the first frost, is actually chop it down and cover it and protect it. In that way, at least you don't lose the plant. However, is that if it does go really minus temperatures, minus Celsius, is I would actually decide to have it in a pot earlier, and then you bring it in and maybe do a bit of pruning and start your overwinter preparation. And then once you do actually protect the plant, what happens is in springtime, as the temperature and the soil is getting warmer, is you will get it sprouting out again. And actually what happens is that you get your fuchsia tree back, back in your garden or in your pot. Basically, as I mentioned before, is that once the plant does mature, is after the growing season, is that the wood does get the stem does get a bit woody. So when you do propagation, what you would do is actually go for the soft cutting, which is actually this bit that will start growing in the springtime. Just get your cutting, and that's what you can propagate. Now, seeing that I did experiment here with a hard wood cutting, it did take a while for it to actually start propagating. But it actually, the other day when I was thinking about propagation of this plant, I did look below and I did see the rooting. So even with a hard wood stem cutting like this, you can still propagate it. There are different types of propagations you can do with this plant. So you could do a water propagation, which I used to do in the past, and you will get rooting on at the node. But this time I decided, let me do a soil propagation, and as we see, I do have rooting below, which shows me that the propagation has actually worked. And secondly, as I tug on it, it is quite hard. So I think I have got quite a lot of rooting. Now, the last propagation is you could do a seed propagation. Now, what happens is that after it does flower, it does produce all these berries. I've been picking berries. And the thing about these berries is that people do eat it. It's supposed to be edible. I haven't tried it, and I don't know whether I will try it. But basically, what you need to do is that in these berries, if you squish them, as I'm doing here, is you get all these seeds here. What I'm going to do is just get this tissue and squash my seeds, my berries, onto this tissue, just like that. Open it up, like that. And then this is how you would actually dry those seeds inside once you, here they are. And with these seeds, I think this is the best way to do it, is once it's dried, then you actually can propagate it. And although I have never really tried it, but apparently the propagation within 6 weeks, you will get your seedlings happen. So I'm going to actually try it with these as I go along. So as I squash them, I get all the seeds happening. And so basically I would dry the seeds, and then once I get them, I do a seed propagation, and it takes about 6 weeks to actually start getting a new, a seedling popping up. So as I mentioned earlier, I did do, before I had done water propagation. So this time I decided to do a seed propagation. So what I'm going to do is tip this one out, and it's actually sat in this pot for a long time, maybe three months or something. And so this is with a soil propagation, and basically I have a lot of rooting. Yep, all the rooting is there. I'm going to just dip it in here so we can have a proper look. So I would say this rooting could be about 3 months or 4 months. No, I think 3 months, because I did start it. And there you are. So with wood stem cutting, I actually got quite a good rooting. And so you could either do it with a soft stem, or you could do it with a wooded one, or you could do a water propagation, or you could actually do a seed propagation and open up your berries, dry it, and then once it's completely dry, you can try to do a seed propagation. So fellow gardeners, do go and get one of these plants. We have put the name below. They are amazing, and they do flower, and you will get the pollinators, and the flowers are really beautiful and very, very delicate. But I love the color, it's spectacular. And don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also press that notification button so you're always informed when we do upload our episodes. And don't forget, I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook, I am on YouTube comments, and do send me a comment. And I would like to actually thank you for all the support that you've given me and all the encouragement from your comments, and I really am appreciative. And spread the word around, show your friends the channel, and we do have fun in this channel. So bye, and happy gardening. Do get yourself one of these.